first, diesel engines are the workhorses of our economy. They transport our children, they build our roads, they build bridges, they build our homes, and they restore wetlands and streams. However, they do have a dark sooty side, and that's in the emissions that they produce. Their emissions have been linked to asthma attacks, heart and lung disease, cancer, and even early death. In fact, diesel soot contributes to 21,000 deaths throughout the United States each year. And some of this soot is so fine, it's 1/30th the width of a human hair. So 30 of these particles can fit on the width of a human hair. So what that means is when we breathe them in, it bypasses our body's natural defenses, gets lodged in our lungs, and it could go into our bloodstream. And over 30 years of medical research has associated diesel soot with those health ailments. In fact, right here in Franklin County, the lifetime diesel soot cancer risk is about 223 times greater than the U.S. EPA's acceptable level of a cancer risk of 1 in a million. So here we are, we have the diesel particulate filter that's been installed on this wheel loader. Now, a diesel particulate filter is a type of emission control device, and as you can see, it is installed at the top, and it's going to virtually eliminate black carbon emissions that come out of this vehicle. Now, that's important for a couple different reasons. One is black carbon from diesel engines is about 2,000 times more potent climate warming agent than CO2 or carbon dioxide. CO2 acts like a blanket, whereas the emissions that come out of this vehicle, the black carbon, actually generates heat when it's cooked in the sun, or it generates heat when the sun hits it. So by virtually eliminating these emissions, the black carbon emissions, we're going to have an immediate climate benefit, because black carbon only stays in the atmosphere for about 7 to 14 days, whereas CO2 stays in the atmosphere for about 100 years or longer. So we could have an immediate climate benefit by reducing the black carbon. And with diesel pollution, diesel engines in the United States make up about 57% of the black carbon emissions in the country. And the U.S. leads the world in terms of black carbon emissions. In 2007, the U.S. EPA required all new on-road heavy-duty diesel vehicles, that would be your school buses, your semis, things like that, your dump trucks, to have a diesel particulate filter installed. Now, that filter reduces the pollution by about 90–95%. And then in 2010, the regulations kicked in to control for the nitrogen oxide emissions. And here in Franklin County, there's two main pollutants that the U.S. EPA regulates for. Particulate matter 2.5, which is 1/30th the width of a human hair, and then also ozone pollution, or also known as smog. And so diesels contribute to both, but they also have a nitrogen oxide component to their emissions. And what that does is it cooks in the summer sun along with volatile organic compounds in the long days of summer, and that's what causes that ground level smog, which of course gives us the air quality alert days. Now, with the U.S. EPA rules, they are in effect now. However, they're not going to, the full health benefit of those rules is not going to be seen until 2030 at the earliest. There are solutions out there. The easiest thing fleets could do is not idle their vehicles. That's just wasting money, polluting our air, and impacting our health, impacting the workers' health as well. We still have that legacy fleet that's out there. There's estimates of 11 million existing diesel engines that are on the road or working on construction sites across the country, and they're heavily polluting. So some solutions include using alternative fuels to reduce those emissions, also using emission controls to reduce the emissions as well. And emission control is basically aftermarket treatment or add-on to a diesel engine, where you take off the muffler and you put an emission control device on. In keeping with the mayor's Get Green initiative, and again, we're excited to be partnering with the city on this project. To me, it demonstrates that the city not only talks the talk, but they walk the walk when it comes to doing environmental steps to not only protect our environment, but also to protect public health. Some of the criteria that we were looking for when we were looking for an emission control device, the City of Columbus didn't want anything that blocked the view of the operator in the wheel loader. They wanted something that they didn't have to plug in overnight. And they were looking at something that could be used on a daily basis, and that could be, it's called regeneration, where this particular filter that we have installed, you hit a button when it's time to be cleaned, and it actually generates heat, and it burns off the crust, if you will, or the pollutants that are on that honeycomb filter. So we are very excited to be here at CompTIL and to partner with the City of Columbus on this project. We looked at the vehicles out here, the construction vehicles out here, and identified a 1999 wheel loader to be a perfect candidate for a diesel emission control, specifically a diesel particulate filter. Now, we had this filter installed, and the results are quite stunning. They reduce the pollution by over 700 pounds a year. So this vehicle, before the filter was installed, was polluting over 700 pounds of pollutants a year, whether it be the particulate matter or the soot, whether it be hydrocarbons or carbon or nitrogen oxide. But now that the emission control device is on, the pollution has been cut by about 99%.
That's great.
And as part of Mayor Michael B. Coleman's Get Green initiative, we are greatly proud to be able to use the diesel particulate filter. We have here a Volvo front end loader that it's been installed on, and since we've had it on since probably July, we've seen a great reduction in the amount of carbon that's been emitted into our atmosphere. Our greatest asset are our employees, so we want to protect them and protect their health. As you can see here, we are surrounded by farmland, and we lease this land so the crops aren't being inundated with the carbon that has been in the past been emitted from our front end loaders. Our front end loaders use approximately 30 gallons of biodiesel a day, so with approximately 4 to 5 front end loaders being used on a daily basis on a 10-hour shift. If we were to have these on all of our machines, it would be a great reduction into the environment. The machine is regenerated daily at the end of the shift. There's a light that comes on and tells the operator when to go ahead and regenerate it, and it takes about 45 to 50 minutes, and it's a very efficient process. I would love to be able to have these installed on all of our machines. It would help with maintenance costs. If you just look at it from a budgetary finance aspect, to have one of these put on a machine at $15,000 per unit versus buying a new machine or a new device at a much higher cost, it would be a great cost savings for the city. The environment and getting green is at the top of our list of things we want to do. We want to be good neighbors and just help the city.
By installing a filter, it could make fleets competitively, give them a competitive advantage, if you will, over other fleets, because some places require that the diesel equipment have filters installed or meet a certain level of reduction in pollution. So these filters are not only good for the economy because people aren't getting sick, and good for public health, but it could give a fleet a competitive advantage over other fleets.